Chief Officer Allan Killavuka has attributed KQ's bad performance businesses to the continued depreciation of the Kenyan shilling against major world currencies. Killavuka has called on the national government to help the airline get out of the huge debt for its operations to get back to profit-making.
The effects of the depreciating Kenyan shilling is now threatening the very survival of the national carrier Airways KQ. KQ CEO Allan Killavuka, appearing before the Parliamentary Select Committee on Transport, has laid it bare the national carrier is deeply rooted in debts owing to the deteriorating Kenyan shilling against world major currencies, especially the US dollar.
We pay about 70% of our expenses are in US dollars. So it is roughly, we say it is covered. Our expenses are covered from sales and expenses. The problem is the loans, which are huge, which are denominated in foreign currency. That's where we have the biggest hit. And so that's why we're trying to solve that problem so that it does not keep recurring.
Kenya Airways debt woes did not start the other day. They date back to 3 years ago at the onset of the coronavirus. In the year 2020, the national carrier KQ recorded a whopping 36.6 billion loss. In 2021, KQ recorded 15 billion shillings, while in 2022, the airline suffered another huge loss of 48.2 billion shillings. This year, KQ has posted a half-year loss of 21 billion, and the airline CEO Killavuka projects that this figure will hit 32 billion if the performance of the shilling against the dollar does not significantly improve.
So one of the problems that we have in Kenya for Kenya Airways is what we call capacity dumping. What is capacity dumping? Capacity dumping is where big airlines, which can afford, they deploy excess capacity into your market. And then they can even drop the fares. And they can do that for a sustainable period of time because they can afford it. They are subsidized by their governments. They are much larger than you. And as a result of that, you suffer because you cannot compete toe-to-toe with them. So we have been engaging governments to stop capacity dumping. In other words, we don't want airlines to deploy capacity that is not needed.
Despite posting marginal profit this year, the national carrier continues to be weighed down by huge debts, slowing the growth of the airline. If these debts are not addressed as a matter of urgency, Killavuka says KQ will continue to suffer huge losses heading into the year 2024.
There are two things that are critically important. Airlines need to have positive working cash flow. And for them to have that, they have to be properly capitalized, and I think I've repeated this many times, but that is extremely important. Have to be properly capitalized.
Killavuka has called on the government to bail out the airline from the huge accumulating debts so that it can go back to profit-making operations.
We want to make that sustainable going forward so that it runs within the culture of the organization, that we are an efficient airline. Secondly,